The Fox River spans 202 miles through southeastern Wisconsin and Illinois. In that stretch, it drains over 2,500 square miles of land and flows through some of the largest cities in Illinois aside from Chicago. Many people know of the Fox River, especially residents of cities like Crystal Lake, Elgin, and Aurora, but they are not all aware of the importance and value this river holds in the region or the status of the health of the river. In questioning why is the Fox River important, you do not have to look far. According to their water production department, the city of Aurora, Illinois gets 60% of their drinking water from the Fox River. Aurora is the second most populous city in Illinois with around 180,000 people. Other cities like Elgin, Bartlett, and Sleepy Hollow also have residents who receive their drinking water from the Fox River, which totals to around 300,000 people that rely on the Fox River for their drinking water. But the river's importance goes beyond just drinking water. The Fox River is one of the main tributaries to the Illinois River, which is another main tributary to the Mississippi River. This means that pollutants or other harmful things in the Fox River have the potential to flow down the Illinois River and through the Mississippi and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. It is important to keep tributaries as healthy as possible to ensure the downstream waters stay healthy as well. Fox River also supports ecosystems and the lives of 40 animals and 102 plants that are endangered or threatened. Fox River has other qualities that benefit the area's population. Dr. Richard Boniek of Aurora University, who first began studying the Fox River in his undergrad at NIU, identified some major qualities the river has to offer.
Early on in your email was the drinking water. You figure Aurora gets a large amount of drinking water from the Fox River, so does Elgin. So I think there's that piece. Recreation. How many people go out and then boat out there? Another thing, I think fishing. There's quite a bit of fishing out there. And I think the last thing is the aesthetics piece. Because look at all the bike trails. Look at during summertime, all the people that are out there along that getting that next to the river, that aesthetic piece.
These benefits that the river brings to the communities help them grow and thrive. The population and urbanization in the Fox River watershed has been steadily growing over the past 20 years. Along with growing cities comes more threats to the river's quality and health. With the popularity of suburbs in the Fox River watershed rising, new sources of contamination are becoming present through trends in the river. Dr. Boniek notes on the current quality of the river compared to the past and new threats presenting themselves.
Trends is this. I would say early on, when we got into the Clean Water Act and we removed a lot of that point source, such as industrial pollution, a lot of the sewage pollution direct, that was reduced quite a bit. Now I think we're having issues as we continue to expand. I think we're having more issues with sediments. As they build these new subdivision, you're getting more sediment flow into the river. I'm a little bit concerned with phosphorus. Phosphorus seems to be a trend of something that's going up higher and higher. Another thing that concerns me also is pesticides. As people continue to have nice green lawns, to that water system, not directly to the Fox, but up the creeks and then to the Fox.
The issues Dr. Boniek discussed are not just noticed by him. The Fox River Study Group, which has been established since 2001, published a Fox River implementation plan to resolve water quality issues in the river that focuses on the issues of total phosphorus, algae, and dissolved oxygen levels. Algae issues in the Fox River are caused by phosphorus amounts and fertilizers flowing into the river. The issues with dissolved oxygen levels begins with the dams along the rivers interrupting its flow, causing unnatural dissolved oxygen levels.
Things. I'm a big proponent about removing some of those dams. Not all of them at once, but removing some of the dams. Because why? Those dams sit there. There's a whole safety issue, but I'm looking at it for your discussion today as more of an ecosystem approach. Those dams sit there and they stop a lot of that water where that biological, accumulates. And then what does it do? It decreases dissolved oxygen. If you look at USGS tests, they see dissolved oxygen is going down. Part of it could be the phosphorus going in the system, but part of it is those dams not allowing that river to flow. Now, I'm not a big proponent of removing all those. I think some groups want to remove all 12, 13 dams. Not that, because what that's going to do is cause issues downstream. because now all of a sudden you're changing the flow of the water too much, where you're going to see maybe areas that weren't flooding now. Maybe areas that had more water starting to get decreased water. So I think that would be too drastic, but I think that you can remove 1-2 dams that could actually help with better water flow. Also help the fish move better, because as you know, or maybe you've heard, at the Yorkville Dam, they put in a fish ladder where the fish can go upstream. They need to start doing more of that in some of the other areas, or at least.
Perhaps the most daunting and unpredictable threat to the Fox River is brought up by Dr. Chris Wells, Chair and Associate Professor of Parks and Recreation Leadership at Aurora University.
I think the biggest threat to the ecosystem right now is the potential for chemical spills. In the recent weeks, we've seen the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, that dumped several chemicals into the environment. Then just recently in Pittsburgh, there was a chemical leak from a factory that went into the Delaware River. So even though we treat our water and make it healthy to drink, there's the risk that other contaminants could be dumped into that water that can't be taken out by a treatment plant. We have a railroad that goes right through the heart of the city of Aurora and crosses the river at Heard's Island. So if there were a train derailment similar to what happened in East Palestine, that could have a huge impact on the water quality here in Aurora.
Do you think that the Fox River watershed? The possibility of a chemical spill could degrade the Fox River and the rivers it contributes to downstream. With large issues like chemical spills and the disruption from dams, it doesn't seem like an individual can do much to protect their local waterway. That is why it is important to support groups dedicated to the improvement of rivers and tributaries.
I think there are a number of initiatives that are working to improve and maintain the ecosystem, the watershed here around the Fox River. The thing we have to keep in mind is the Fox River starts in Wisconsin. So it's not just our community and the impact we have on that river, but all of the upstream sources as well. So we need to work collaboratively with communities north of us, upstream of us, to make sure that they're doing things to protect their watersheds so that those contaminants don't.
Communities and groups along the Fox River have been working on improvements such as the Fox River Implementation Plan's proposal to upgrade wastewater treatment plants' total phosphorus removal, remove dams, and reduce total phosphorus loads upstream and in tributaries. Other steps individuals can do to support the quality of their local watershed include improvements of their water management at home and in other aspects of our lives, such as some of these examples Dr. Wells.
There are a number of things. As you maintain your lawn, make sure that you're using the appropriate amount of fertilizer, that you're not over-fertilizing your lawn, or that the chemicals you're using to reduce the number of weeds in your lawn are safe for the environment. Or if they're not, then accept the possibility of having weeds in your lawn. Other things, making sure that if you're working on your vehicle at home, that you're careful that oil and gasoline and other contaminants don't hit the ground and then get washed into the river by rain. Making sure that we're not dumping things into storm drains that run into the river, that we're protecting that ecosystem.
Along with those improvements, Dr. Boniak gives some additional advice on how to improve houses' water management.
Individual home lots. So yeah, wetlands, of course. I would say having wetland systems, but I'm saying individual home lots, where you have your drainage way, don't have grass going all the way into that drainage way. Have some natural plants in there, because those natural plants will use up some of those things that are flowing off the grass. So I'm just thinking individually, people can start using more natives around those areas where, it's flowing into a drainage way, around homes, or what if you do have a creek in your backyard? That creek's eventually going to go in the watershed of the Fox River. Have a nice native patch there. So I would say going even beyond wetlands, having buffer zones within each individual home and making that acceptable. I mean, it's becoming more and more. Like I have some around my house, and I've noticed two of my neighbors have natives growing in those drainage areas.
With continued support from local residents and groups, promoting sustainability for the Fox River can reach the entire watershed, and the local population can have a healthy, beneficial relationship with their river.